you to our lovely crowd online and here in the theater at the Imperial Center. My name is Brooke Edwards, and I am the superintendent of the Imperial Center for Arts and Sciences here in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. I am also currently the acting artistic director of the theater at the Imperial Center, and this is our 6th annual staged reading series of new plays and works by local writers. Tonight we are going to do one play. It is a full length with a working title called The Bhutto Project, and it is by Dennis Corcoran and Naveed Moeed. They've been working together writing this for the past couple years, and this is the first time that it's ever been heard, said out loud, or anything. So I really hope that it's very helpful to Dennis and Naveed to hear it tonight. And afterwards, if anybody has any questions, either online or with our in-person audience, I will have one of the writers on FaceTime to answer any questions that you might have. And at this time, I would like the cast to introduce themselves. Like I said, I am Brooke Edwards. I will be playing Benazir Bhutto.
I'm Alison Baker, and I'll be reading the stage directions.
Hello, my name is Azurae DuBose, and I will be reading for Laila and Nusrat.
Hello, I'm Corrie, and I will be reading for Hila.
Hello, I'm Jim Lowdermilk, and I'll be doing Zulfikar and Father.
I'm David Lewis. I will be reading for the Inquisitor and Anwar.
And without further ado, The Bhutto Project.
The Bhutto Project. Working title, a full-length play by Dennis Corcoran and Naveed Moeed. Scene transition conventions. Scene changes should involve no set pieces changes, if at all possible. Scene changes may have a backstory, audio only. Scene changes may have sound to indicate place. All scenes except Scene 4 set in various places in Pakistan. Scene 4 is set in France. Minimal set pieces, a writing desk and chair with tall, thin bookcase atop. Center stage right. They should face on diagonal to house left. Our characters: Hila from Swat Valley, North Pakistan, early teens. Laila, Hila's older sister, late teens. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, former prime minister, father of Benazir, husband of Nusrat. Benazir Bhutto, 2 times prime minister of Pakistan, assassinated in 2007 and run for 3rd term. Nusrat Bhutto, interim head of PPP, Benazir's mother, Zulfikar's wife. Father, Hila and Laila's father. Chachaji, voiceover only, father's brother, Hila and Laila's uncle. Anwar, Chachaji's son, Hila and Laila's cousin. Inquisitor is a state official. Inner being is a spirit of relentless hope and a dancer. Scene 1. Baba, Anwar, Hila at odds. Lights up. Baba faces Anwar and Hila. Anwar has crutches, one leg is broken. The clothes of the young ones are disheveled and dirty. The leg of Anwar's shalwar is torn, showing the cast where the motorcycle crushed his leg.
How could you?
Moves to Hila, almost threatening to hit her. She flinches. Anwar almost moving to protect her.
How dare you defy me in such a fashion? And you, just wait until my brother hears about this. You think it hurts with only a broken leg? Wait and see. He'll be sure to finish the job. Well, do either of you have anything to say? Taba, the shame, the absolute shame you have brought upon us. And you, Anwar, do you have nothing to say? You, of all people, should have known better. Well, say something.
Baba, please. This has nothing to do with him. This is entirely my fault. Please, Baba. I insisted. No, forced him to take me to see Benazir.
Bhutto, that swine of a woman, at a PPP rally in Rawalpindi? Are you mad? You must be, because you and that idiot sister of yours feeding each other these haram ideas. Oh, Allah, what did I do to raise such insolent, disrespectful daughters? Oh, tell me, oh Allah, what terrible sin did I do to deserve this? The shame of it. Rolling in the town with a full circus of those politicians in a row.
Baba, please. We would have been back by the evening. No one would have known. Not even you. If it hadn't been for the accident. Baba, please try to understand.
Baba. Grow up, you stupid girl. You're almost 15. You can't just cry, Baba, 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 and imagine that everything will be okay? That your sweet father will just come round to his little princess's wishes? Allah, how I wish your poor mother was still alive.
Hila and Anwar can't hear what he says, but turn to look at each other as he mutters.
Actually, I'm glad she isn't, or she would have died of the shame.
I'm sorry, Baba. So sorry.
2 days. 2 days and 2 whole nights I spent worrying that something had happened to you, that someone had taken you, that you were lost or worse.
Squats to the floor in resignation.
What do I do? What do I do now? Allah, Allah. Anwar, go home to your Abu. He was equally concerned, and no doubt he will have some words for you.
Anwar exits and limps upstage right. Baba turns to Hila.
And as for you, young lady, go to your room. It is time for Maghrib anyway. In the morning, I will figure out what to do with you.
Baba exits, Hila kneels, lights out. End of scene 1. Scene 2. Assassination and relentless hope. Hila kneels in prayer. His desk and chair piled with clothes. Father, at stage left curtain, watches Hila finish prayers. Sound cue. Music and actual newsreel of assassination of Benazir Bhutto. Father enters as music slowly fades out. He stands, watches his daughter finish her prayers. She notices him, lowers her head covering to her shoulders, and rises.
Hila, namaz puri ho gaya? You have finished your prayers, Hila.
Yes, Father. Just now.
What did you make dua for? Well?
I prayed for our family and forgiveness for us all, and I prayed that maybe I could go to university in Peshawar and...
Taba, after everything you did today, you should seek forgiveness. You should seek Allah's guidance on how to be a dutiful daughter, a sensible woman. Instead of such harami things, where did you learn such things? This comes from the television. Those women, it is not our way.
But Father, I wish to be a medical worker. What law forbids it? If I was educated, I could take care of so many others. Women, children.
The care of strangers is not your concern. It is not your place. What is holy is that you should be helping your family and preparing for a good life. All will be according to Allah's plan.
Benazir is coming back. She'll be prime minister again, and all girls will be allowed to university. Not just those in Karachi and Lahore. Women will be able to leave home for work.
Spits on the ground.
Silence! This is haram. She is no more. All this talk of reform, it died with her tonight. I didn't want to interrupt your prayer, but that Bhutto woman is dead. All her talk of westernization, it died with her. You must find another dream, one more fitting.
Dad?
He exits.
Baba, please!
Hila, crushed, slumps to the floor, hands covering her face. Inner being enters upstage center and stands far upstage center.
Find another dream? Not in my place? What does that even mean? Everything I know, everyone I know is here. I feel the river's water in my palms. I want nothing more than to tend to these people whom I love. How can that be wrong?
Dance of relentless hope. Hila, crushed, slumps to the floor, hands covering her face. Inner being enters upstage center, stands over Hila like a beautiful angel with a large white dupatta on her head. Sound cue. Beautiful Afghanistan in tears, instrumental music. Music fades up, inner being performs Dance of Relentless Hope. As she dances, Hila grows visibly calm, more assured, more at peace. At the end of dance, inner being removes dupatta and places it around Hila's head and shoulders, then exits upstage center. Hila rises. She takes the dupatta in her hands, bundles it up in her hands, and lovingly caresses it. End of scene 2. Scene 3. The burqa. Hila is composed. On a shelf is a stick and Quran. She puts the dupatta on her head, takes Quran from the shelf, sits on prayer mat, and begins to read, While doing so, a radio news announcement is heard. Sound cue. BBC announcer. Twice elected Prime Minister of Pakistan, Benazir Bhutto, was a clear front-runner to be elected for an unprecedented third term. Threats on her life were widely reported in local and international media and were reportedly well known to General Pervez Musharraf's military government. Many of Miss Bhutto's supporters and others outside her camp suspect the Musharraf regime of having a hand in her assassination. As the final line is read, Laila enters, takes off burqa, throws it on the floor, and sees Hila.
Hila! Oh, Hila, you're back! Are you all right?
I suppose Baba told you.
He didn't have to. I was at the women's center when the PPP bus that brought you home parked. What about Anwar? I heard he broke his leg.
Yes, rather badly. So you heard about Benazir? I just heard from Baba.
I'm so sorry, Hila. And angry and sad. I don't know if I should scream or cry. It's so horrible.
Laila kicks the burqa which she threw on the floor.
I hate this thing. I hate it all. These extremists, all this madness.
Shh! Don't let Baba hear you. Or worse, Chachaji.
Uncle's here?
Moves to window overlooking walled courtyard.
He must have arrived after Ishaha. They would have made an announcement straight after prayers. I can see him now. His fat feet slapping the asphalt, smug grin on his face, bursting in here victorious, like he'd held the gun himself, pulled the trigger. This is not what Allah wanted for us.
Goes to shelf, touches Quran.
The Quran says...
Oh, Anwar just limped in. He's terribly hurt.
The Quran says we are the spiritual equals of men.
Yes, equal but not equal. Same but different.
Same but different? Are you even listening? This is what Benazir stood for. This was her life testimony. More same, less different. I am sure of it.
Who are you now? Benazir reborn? Stop filling your head with stuff like this all the time. And for all your talk of the Quran, it says above all, respect your parents and your elders. This is our way.
Our way? To be treated less than the men when Allah says we should be equal? Only allow domestic tasks? And why? What did we ever do but be born?
Laila turns from the window and reaches her hand to her sister. Hila is unmoved.
Here, my darling sister. Come, don't be angry. You're upset she's gone. I am upset too. But we can't bring her back. And we can't continue her dream for us with anger alone.
She takes down the Quran, opens it.
We should read Surah Yasin for Benazir.
Turns more pages, trying to find the Surah.
Maybe later, yes?
She takes the Quran, kisses it like before, and places it back on the shelf. Then she turns to Laila.
Ami would have gifted this to one of us on our wedding day, just like it was handed to her by Nani. Life seemed so certain when she was with us. And now, what will become of us?
Silence. Hila hugs Laila as sounds of chatter continue as they peer out the window.
I don't know.
Baba tells me to stop dreaming of an education. Maybe he's right. Maybe I should.
No, that's wrong. Don't say that. You always wanted to become a doctor or nurse. We need them desperately. There aren't enough.
But...
No. What of those who can't travel? We need so much more help at the center, too. Besides, look what they've done for me. They've shown me how to use a computer. Junaida said I was good at it. She said I could do a course and one day teach others.
You? Seriously, Laila? You always said I was crazy for wanting to go off to university. You always teased me about that, and now you?
The women at the center say things will get worse now. Maybe the whole center will be shut down. I'm a person there.
Pause as Hila holds and rocks Laila.
They say Benazir never wore a burqa.
I heard she did once. Shahida at the center was at Benazir's wedding reception.
The center. That's all you talk about these days. And these women there? Oh, Laila, really? That's not possible. A poor woman from Swat at Benazir's wedding. No, she is telling tales. They are as bad as the men.
No, she's not. She said she was visiting her cousin in Karachi when Benazir got married. Benazir invited all her party supporters in Lyari to her wedding party. Anyway, Shahida said some women saw Benazir in a burqa, like a disguise, so she could slip in to check on preparations herself. So, see, she wore a burqa.
How many people were at this party?
100,000, maybe 200,000. Too many to count.
Millions, maybe?
Oh, so you're making fun of me now. They filled a stadium. There were sweets, music, dancing.
I've seen TV images of girls going to school in Karachi with only a hijab, some with nothing on their heads. Some lay them back on their heads like this or drape them off to one side. How do I look? Or if I flip an end over, how do I look now?
Hila! Oh, you were so beautiful. Hila, like one of those Bollywood actresses.
You just wait. You'll be so jealous seeing me carry laundry one day, all smart and elegant.
You'll be just like the rest of us, a blue tent with feet. Benazir's family were proud of her just as she was. They wanted everyone to see her, strong, confident, beautiful, and hear her speak.
Can you imagine if our family... No, that will never happen. Listen to how they talk about schooling, staying inside, never traveling without a male escort. I just want Baba to
say he was proud of us.
That's it. Not regretting that his daughters should have been sons.
I'm going to wear a hijab. They're beautiful, the colors and patterns.
Hey, Laila, you would never make it past our front door.
Laila inspects head coverings in basket, looking for one to complement her dress.
They say the hijab is a sign of respect for Islam.
Can you see us getting away with that? Are you going to take off your burqa once you're beyond our street? What if someone sees you and tells Chachaji? Can you imagine what would happen to you?
But I don't understand. Some of the women argue about that. Some are very conservative, but they say that we must cover our faces, hair, everything, head to toe. But others say no. They bicker about this rule and that. I don't know. What's right, Hila?
This is about Islam. It's about how you interpret the Quran and the Hadith.
Interpret? It's not our place to interpret.
Yes. Listen. Remember when I tore off my burqa at the picnic? Baba was so angry, yelling, "This is not our way," over and over. This is how our family is. Not all families, not just ours. But don't you see?
Zunita says the Quran doesn't say wear a burqa. It says to be modest, to dress modestly.
Oh, Laila, that is my point. Zunita says one thing, Chachaji and Baba, they say another. Do you remember that woman, the wife of Chachaji's neighbor? She had lived for a time growing up in Jordan. Remember her?
Yes, she was a very nice lady. Didn't she say she had traveled to Egypt too?
She's the one. She said that the women and girls there, they dressed in all sorts of ways. Some in burqas, some in only hijab, and some with no head covering at all. In those countries, they speak Arabic. They can read and understand the Quran without reading the Tarjumah.
Yes, I remember that, but...
That is what I mean by interpretation. The teachers here force ideas of what the Quran means on us. But in other places, even in Pakistan, women and girls aren't made to dress that way. Are these other people bad Muslims?
I hate all this. But who are we to interpret the word of Allah? Do we know better than the scholars who have studied Arabic? They know the hadith. They know more than us. Surely they are closer to knowing the will of Allah.
No one but Allah knows the will of Allah.
Laila wraps her dupatta around her head and turns her back on Hila. She starts cleaning the room. Soon both the girls go about tidying the room.
I know. I'm sorry. I know you just want to work at the center, help others, and that is your right. But can't we also have an education? We can be so much more than this.
Maybe so. But are you willing to be beaten or die for the right to do homework? Or for refusing to be wise enough to know when to be silent?
Silence is fear. No, Laila, I won't be silent anymore. The first word of the Holy Quran is read, and that is how we learn to read, think, use our free will which Allah has given to us. It is how we become somebody.
Maybe we should run away. Leave. You left that one time. We could go together.
I don't know what I was thinking. Amani had just died. I wanted to get away. I got halfway up the mountain.
Where were you trying to get to?
Ralapandi.
Allah, Allah. It's more than 4 hours by car and you were trying to get there on a bicycle you couldn't even ride?
I was such an idiot. I don't know. It was frightening, Laila. You talk of running away. We're not strong enough or old enough. I hoped it would change when Benazir came back, but now...
There was talk they were going to expand the center, open more in other villages. And look!
Gets a small box in the basket from under the clothing and opens it.
They give me money. I have money for my work, my own money.
Seriously? I can't believe it. How much have you saved?
Laila puts box back and basket under clothing.
Enough for your schooling.
Then I'll be a doctor. And when you have a baby, I'll take care of you. Both of you. And we'll wear dupattas like Benazir, so smart and stylish.
A slow fade of light to indicate moving into another state.
And lipstick. Pink.
Or red.
We can have our hair done, long and straight like the actresses in the TV films.
They start a Bollywood dance. Laila stops, watches Hila dance, then puts hands on Hila's shoulders.
What are we going to do, Hila? What's going to happen to us now?
Transition. The notion of a prison cell is introduced with the slow fade up of prison bar DuBose for upstage center. They notice the bars, realize they are in a prison of their own. Horrified, she and Hila quickly gather any remaining things, make a final glance at prison bars, and frightened, run out. Lights remain very dim, with only the gobo of a prison cell visible. End of scene 3. Scene 4. Zulfikar and Benazir. Sound cue. Benazir Bhutto recording of Islam's call for women's rights to dignity, equality, and respect. As voiceover plays, Zulfikar enters a cell with a mat and kneels. Inquisitor enters, sits at desk. Silence. Inquisitor and Zulfikar in dim light. When voiceover ends, lights fade up. Inquisitor approaches cell. Zulfikar sees him, stands, turns to him. Lights to full.
Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, you are accused of demeaning the office of Prime Minister by conspiring to commit murder. What have you to say for yourself?
I am the democratically elected Prime Minister, and I demand that...
You will make no demands here, and you are no longer Prime Minister. Now I will ask again, what have you to say?
Lies. These are all lies.
You are guilty of high crime.
I am guilty of nothing.
You are guilty of everything. Of bringing this great nation of ours to its knees.
Lies. Who was it who tried to bring about land reforms so peasants could own a plot of ground for the first time? Who tried to establish a constitution in which all are equal under the law? Who? Who do you think it was who promised laborers' rights, old age pensions, group insurance, profit sharing?
Silence! Enough! This is not a forum for speeches. You are accused of betraying the trust placed in you by the people of Pakistan, colluding to empower the military, and at what cost? No, I'll hear no more of this.
The only betrayal is your own. Do you not consider your coup a betrayal?
I waste my time with you. You are obviously recalcitrant.
He turns to leave.
Perhaps at a later date.
Oh, there is no later date. We both know I'll not leave this prison alive.
As you wish.
Inquisitor sits at desk. Zulfikar lays down on the mat the only furniture in his cell. His health is failing, disease, hunger strike, lack of medical care. His voice is weak.
Your wife and daughter have been sent for. They should arrive soon.
Why the change? Visiting day is tomorrow. Am I to die tonight?
I do not know.
Oh, you do not know, or you will not say.
I merely do my job. I have not been informed.
Benazir enters stage left, speaks to Inquisitor.
Guard, I am the Prime Minister's daughter, Benazir. Why have my mother and I been summoned? This is not our visiting day. Do you mean to kill him tonight?
I am unaware of any change.
Benazir, Betty, is that you?
Yes, Father.
Is your mother with you? Nusrat? Nusrat?
She's coming, Papa. She's having a word with the officer in charge.
I must see both of you, speak with both of you. I fear this is the end.
As she speaks, Nusrat enters, distressed, recently in tears, now only silent.
Ami is here. We wish to be with him one last time.
That is not possible. It is forbidden to be with the prisoner.
He is your Prime Minister. By whose orders are we forbidden? Tell me, I have a right to know. He is my father. Have you no heart? He brought you 95,000 of our soldiers home from the prisoner of war camps. Does that mean nothing to you? The least you can do is show respect for the service he has given his people. Have you no children of your own? No parent who would pine in torment if denied this, a most basic of human kindness? May we at least have a private word with him?
If I could, but I cannot leave you alone with him. I have...
Yes, I know. Orders.
You are allowed only to sit before his cell, that is all. You may not enter, nor can he be let out. You may not reach through the bars or touch in any way. I am sorry.
Staring at Inquisitor, Benazir wants to cry but cannot show weakness.
Then let us wait no longer. The executioner's time is near, and we must see his face, hear his voice one last time.
Turn. He is before you.
She turns, sits cross-legged before the cell. Inquisitor ensures a proper distance, sits at desk. Nusrat sits beside her.
My darling Benazir, you come. And Nusrat, oh, thank you both. But you should not be here, neither of you. There is much danger for you here.
There is no danger so great that could keep us away.
He removes his ring.
Nusrat, take my ring.
I cannot do that. You have worn that ring day and night for all these years. You must keep it. Wear it, especially now.
Then, you take it, Benazir. Take it, please, as a reminder.
No, Father. Ami is right. We cannot take it now. We must remember you exactly as you always were, as we have always known you. Strong.
Even now, I cannot prevail over the Bhutto women. All right, then. But I have another wish. This you must follow. I want you to leave Pakistan as soon as possible, immediately if possible.
But Zulfikar.
No. You must heed my words, both of you. It is not safe here. I know you love your dear country, but I fear for you. If you stay, it will make for an early grave. It will be a long time before democracy returns. Until then, many more will suffer. Many more will die. Go to Europe or America. We have money. Find a safe place to live.
I will not go. I have been at your side all these years. No matter the difficulties we face, we have been as one. I cannot leave now. My place is here. I will stay.
Nor will I go, Papa. I wish only to continue your work. That is the life I have chosen freely for myself. No. Ami and I will stay.
As Zulfikar speaks, he extends his hand towards Benazir and Nusrat. Benazir attempts to reach it, but can only touch fingertips. There's a moment of silence. The guard sees them but says nothing. He purposely looks away.
Be at peace, our child without equal. Did Ami and I ever tell you why we named you that? Of course we did. This is no time for old stories.
Baba, what will I do without you?
My death is Allah's will. Those who impose it, merely his instrument. Their fate too is in God's hands. Do not judge them. That is God's alone.
She breaks, almost cries, lowers head into hands to hide sorrow. He stops her.
Be brave. You are strong. You must not let my passing shake your confidence. You are all a father could hope for, and more. And no tears. Never let them see you cry. Hold your head high, always. When you speak, speak calmly, with certainty. Be the picture of the future you want to see in our land. Be the woman you would wish all of Pakistan's daughters to be.
But I don't know how, Papa. I don't know if I can.
You can. And you must. Let your Ami be your pillar. She is wise and strong. Nusrat, I leave the reins of the PPP with you until such time as Benazir is ready. Prepare her well.
But Murtaza, Shahnawaz, what of them?
I have sent them away. I have other plans for your brothers. No, you are the eldest, the brightest. You have been with me, participating in the affairs of state all these years. You and Nusrat must lead the party. That's all there is to it.
She again reaches for his hand through the bars.
You must not.
She stops reaching, turns away from her father. Her heart is breaking.
God, I wish for a bath and a fresh suit of clothes. It is a beautiful earth. I want to be clean. Tonight, I will be free.
Zulfikar lays down on the mat. The Inquisitor remains as before. To the gallows. Lights fade to dim. Nusrat moves for downstage left, lays on the floor with shawl folded as pillow for her head. Benazir backs off far downstage center, takes off her shawl, folds it as a pillow, and lays with back to the audience, face to cell. These actions are as a choreographed dance. Nusrat and Benazir are as if asleep. Pause. Silence. Sound cue. Inquisitor enters cell, holds Zulfikar to his feet, leads him out of his cell. They exit downstage right. Sound of receding footsteps echo on a stone floor. Then a long pause. The sound of wooden floor of a gallows opening is heard, a startling, loud, sharp sound. Then the tug of a rope snapping taut, a groan, silence. Benazir and Nusrat bolt upright at the sound of gallows and groan, a physical sense of panic, fear, distress on both. They look to the cell.
Baba! Baba!
Nusrat rises and rushes to Benazir's side, kneels, and embraces her.
Hush, my love. I had the same dream, the same nightmare. He is gone. He is with Allah. Our job now is to grieve, then continue his work.
Sound cue, officer in charge shouts, seize that woman and her mother as well, place them under arrest. Inquisitor enters stage right, takes Benazir and Nusrat each by one arm, and leads them off stage left as gobo light fades out. Then the remaining lights fade to dim. Stage is now empty, bathed in a very dim, dreamy light. This look is held for a few seconds, then lights to black. End of scene 4. Scene 5. Family picnic, flashback. In darkness, Laila and Hila speak from off stage right.
Do you remember that time, the family picnic, when you tore off your headscarf in front of Anwar and his friends? I thought Baba was going to kill you.
I was simply having fun.
Laila runs in stage right, followed by Hila, both agitated. Father follows, clearly furious. They are younger versions of themselves. The girls are dressed colorfully. Anwar follows, carrying picnic blankets and a battery-powered radio. Layla has basket with clothing.
Besharam! I swear I will nail that burqa to your head. How could you bring such shame on us in front of so many people? Oh, your poor mother in heaven, she would be so ashamed of you right now.
Baba, please, we were just
Stop! You are just as bad as her, and you, the elders, should know better than to tear off your chador and ride around like wild women.
But we are only girls.
Baba raises hand as if to strike Hila. Layla runs up behind him and grabs his hand.
Baba, no!
He stops, steps back, body language changing in the recognition he almost did something not in his nature to do. He almost staggers back.
I'm sorry, Baba.
Baba, we're so sorry. We meant no harm or disrespect.
And what is the use in that? Ever. There are rules. They are not there to keep you safe. They are there to keep you safe, not for my pleasure. If your mother was alive, oh no, girls are not. You two must be responsible women, responsible for this household. And it is time that you lived up to that duty.
Hila is not even 11.
She is old enough to know the difference between right and wrong. What would you have me do? Let her cavort in the street like some whore? How am I supposed to keep you girls safe? Should I let you be kidnapped, sold into slavery, put in some begging cartel? Why are you learning the Quran? Why are we teaching you if all you want to do is disobey Allah?
Allah or you?
Father moves to get stick from where Quran is kept to strike Hila. She cowers behind Layla.
It was just a family picnic.
Where there were grown men. Grown men! The shame you have brought on me today. You two are the bane of my life. Have I not taught you anything? Have your aunties not taught you anything? This is not our way.
Then I hate our way.
Baba moves angrily towards Hila again, but catches a glimpse of Layla, who looks frightened. He stops, he backs away.
You will be punished for this. Help your sister clean up these things, then go to your room. You will not leave until you are told. I have to go now and talk to your Shachak about and sort out this wretched mess. He's no doubt talking to others right now about my good-for-nothing girls.
Baba exits stage right from where they entered. Layla begins to follow, but stops halfway, realizing the futility of talk. She catches Anwar's eyes, who suddenly pretends to be busy with the picnic basket. She goes back to Hila, who is crying in the corner downstage left. Layla puts her hand on Hila's shoulders, but Hila shrugs them off.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate him.
Hey, Hila, you don't mean that. Baba loves us. He's only trying to protect our dignity.
Dignity? Where is the dignity in screaming at girls? He is just scared of Cha-Cha and his cronies.
Hila, shush. You can't talk like that. Here, help me clean these things up.
This wouldn't happen in Karachi or Lahore.
Oh, my darling sister. It could happen anywhere, even in England or America.
No, it would never happen there. They are better there. They know how to respect women.
You think all families are perfect there? Their societies are so much better than ours? I heard in America they still treat black people as second-hand citizens, like the Indians do with the Muslims.
At least there, I wouldn't have to be at the mercy of men with beards.
Hila! Come, help me, please.
Sound cue. Anwar puts a radio on the floor and turns it to a Bollywood station. The following line should be synced with the change in radio stations and actions and dialogue which follows.
Anwar, do you want to get us in even more trouble? Turn that off or switch to another station.
He turns the dial to someone reciting the Quran, makes a face, turns again to a news station, something in Urdu about Benazir. Hila perks up.
Listen, did you hear that?
What? Hear what?
What's on the radio right now? Anwar, turn it up. It's a PPP rally. Where is it? Peshawar? I know! We should go there! Meet Benazir!
Anwar, turn off that noise now! And Hila, really? Even if you could get there, however far it is.
Anwar will take me!
Anwar, shocked by the news, does a comedic double take. She grabs Anwar and starts dragging him out.
Anwar, I said turn it off!
Goes and switches the radio off herself.
Hila, Benazir can't even be in Peshawar. She's in exile. She's not allowed to be anywhere in Pakistan. Sure, they're having a rally, but she's not there. She's probably in America or Dubai or England.
Hila stares at her open mouth, then with chagrin.
Come on, quit daydreaming and about nonsense and help me.
I'm not joking. I'm not joking, you know. I will go and see her one day, and you will be taking me.
Anwar shakes his head violently, frees himself from Hila's grasp, exits stage left.
Maybe she is still in America. She was at some school where she gave a speech. Elon something. I recorded some of it on the radio on Ami's old recorder. I listened to it when you and Baba are asleep.
And does she say it in English? Well, does she? Because if so, I know you don't understand any of it. You've not even learned all the English alphabet, and here you are recording nonsense from the radio, pretending you know what she's saying.
I don't need to understand what she is saying to know that it is the truth. I know in my heart that she is speaking for me. And there's more. Listen.
Chorta, leave it. A ray of sunshine. No, hope. A ray of hope piercing through the dark, stormy sky.
They stay now in a loving embrace. Lights fade to black. Hila and Laila exit stage left, hand in hand. End of scene 5. Scene 6. Loneliness, exile, marriage. In dim light, Nusrat enters with newspapers, sits at desk. She is dressed in a shalwar kameez. Sound cue. Recording of French news broadcast used to set scenic location. At the end of sound cue, Benazir, in a 1980s high-fashion pantsuit, enters from upstage left. She is agitated and angry. The lack of progress of inquest to her brother's murder. Lights fade up.
These French are maddening. Just because we're from a poorer country, they think they can dismiss us as... And that court proceeding was such a waste of time. They haven't charged a single person with Shahnawaz's death. Not one. They haven't even leveled a finger at a suspect.
You mean her? That vile woman who murdered my son? I knew she was no good when Shahnawaz first told me he wanted to marry her. I should have never let him marry for love. Look at what it has brought us. Nothing but misery.
Picks up the newspaper and starts flicking the pages.
Nothing. Oh, look. Finally, page 16. Page 16, the son of the former leader of one of the most populous nations on the planet, a nuclear power, who himself was murdered. And where is it? Buried on page 16, a footnote in an editorial.
Ami, it's just an inquest. There'll be more coverage when they have a conclusion.
And what do you think that will be, eh? I tell you, Benazir, that this is what we will have to face in the real world. This constant hatred and prejudice. No matter where we go, we will always be persecuted. Do you know there are politicians in your beloved Britain?
Ami, I wish you'd stop calling it that.
Politicians who are still so ignorant as to call our people Pakis. Pakis! It mortifies me that we will have to fight 10 times harder, be 1,000 times better just to gain a little respect. Anything bad that happens, anything that a Pakistani does wrong, they say, well, that's how those people are, backwards, corrupt, so impoverished.
Ami, enough. You're getting too worked up.
Moves to massage her mother's shoulders, who initially resists, then relents.
Oh, Betty, you are my only solace. You are the only one left, the only one who takes care of her poor mother. My Bachara. Shahnawaz, dead, murdered by that whore. How will I ever survive, Betty? Look, first they took my Zulfikar. Who next? This world has it in for our people, and worse, our people have it in for our family.
Ami, please don't cry, please. It won't bring Shahnawaz back. And look, you still have me, and you have Murtaza.
Him? He does nothing but stir trouble, cavorting with those religious nutcases, hijacking a plane. He hijacked a plane and flew it to Kabul. Don't you dare mention his name to me. He is as dead to me as Shahnawaz. When I am buried, do not show him my face. I feel worse now than I did when you were under house arrest.
Ami, enough.
Tears the crumpled newspaper out of her mother's hands.
That dictator had 5 guards within the house at all times. I could feel their eyes on me, always watching me like cats eyeing a caged bird. It made me sick, frightened. Oh, God, I can't believe that was just 2 weeks ago. I thought I would never make it out alive.
Nusrat is unsure of what to do, how to comfort her daughter, picks up crumpled paper and straightens it out. Nusrat rises, moves to Benazir.
You survived, didn't you, Betty? My precious one? We're here. We're alive and we're fighting. I look at you now and I think just how proud Papa would have been of you.
Wipes tears away with Bhutto, folds newspaper.
Listen, we're under siege and we must regroup. We must be like chess players. Think not just of our next move, but the move that is a dozen moves ahead. If we let ourselves be beaten down by the likes of Hawk, the clerics, the fanatics, that is when we lose. And I, for one, do not intend to lose to the likes of them. Do you?
Benazir turns, looks back over her shoulder at her mother.
No, Ami.
That's my girl. Listen, Betty. Things are turning, maybe in our favor. They have murdered Shahnawaz, but they could only keep you under house arrest. A change is coming in Pakistan. I can see it. I know you can see it, and the people feel it. There's only one party that will rise to take power when the dictatorship ends.
Us.
Us. My darling son's body might not yet be cold in the grave, but we have to prepare now. We have to prepare you. We have to shape your image to be the leader Pakistan not only needs, but truly wants. The people will love you, but we have to step further. They must adore you, and they can only do that when you are relatable.
What do you mean, Ami?
Fixes her blouse, maybe adjusts an eyebrow.
I'm totally relatable.
This child, Allah.
Takes a step back, eyes Benazir, who seeing this, crosses to the chair and sits.
The Western clothes, gone, no more. Not even when you are meeting the Prime Minister of Great Britain or the President of the United States. The high life in London and Oxford, gone. Your head, always wear dupatta. Maybe even consider a hijab.
No. Dupatta will be fine.
Fine, maybe you're right. Appeal to both progressives and traditionalists. But we need to do one more thing.
Go on.
Marriage. You're 34, Beta, and the whole party is looking up to you.
Shahnawaz's body isn't even cold. I've just been released from house arrest, and you want to talk about marriage? I mean, really?
She rises, begins slowly pacing the room.
I don't know. It feels like so much after everything we've been through. I mean, you loved Papa, didn't you?
I was his safe harbor, his kind word and cool breeze in a hard, hateful life. We had a loyalty to one another which could not be undone by any court in the land. And he loved us all, you, me, your brothers and sister. Do you know how much you meant to him?
He never said.
Oh, he said it many times. You simply didn't hear. When he spoke to the people, he saw your face and the face of every woman and child in Pakistan. You know, the Zardari boy is still interested.
Zardari? A 34-year-old polo-playing playboy? Is he really our best option?
His family's wealth will greatly help our cause, and he also has ambitions in politics.
Well, as long as he doesn't try to have me murdered and take my place.
This is a good match. When the time is right, Aunt Mana and I will see to things. But listen, one day soon you will return to Pakistan, and there will be thousands to greet you as our plane lands. Cheering, chanting. We mustn't lose sight of that hope.
You make it all sound so simple. So, of course that will happen. Oh, Ami, let us try to have an evening together without all of this talk of death and marriage.
They both laugh, lock arms, and begin to exit slowly up stage right. End of scene 6. Scene 7. Hila and Benazir meet. Benazir is now campaigning to be Prime Minister of Pakistan for the 3rd time and has just returned to Pakistan after another period of exile. Sound cue. Recording of Benazir Bhutto saying the following.
Our religion is not what the terrorists preach. Islam is committed to tolerance and equality, and it is committed by Quranic definition to the principles of democracy.
Lights fade up. We are in the interior of a hospital room. Hila stands by a window, looking out. There are noises of a crowded and very busy street. Anwar lies on a mat upstage right, his leg in a cast, his shalwar and kameez torn up and dirty, as if he had been in an accident. Anwar is sleeping. Sound cue, background sounds of a hospital used to set the scene. Hila looking out the window.
Anwar, look! There are so many people lining the streets, all to see Benazir. My goodness, it's madness out there. Gee. Anwar, I told you to be careful in such traffic.
Turns to Anwar, notices he is asleep, slowly goes over to the bed, gingerly picks up his hand.
Oh, Anwar, how could you have been so reckless? I kept telling you all the obstacles to avoid. Maybe I shouldn't have been tapping your shoulder so often.
Sound of a door opening. Sounds from the street fade a little to be replaced by sounds from a hospital. Benazir enters downstage right, her back turned as if she is talking to someone in the corridor.
Nahim. No, I want to go in alone. Don't worry, it will be fine. They're only children. No, that poor boy must be frightened enough as it is. I'm not going to drag my security detail into a hospital room. Please, just stay outside here. Or go.
She turns and walks further into the room. Hila turns, is speechless. She adjusts her head cover, puts both hands on mouth as if to stifle a scream. Benazir steps towards the bed. Anwar sleeping restlessly. She pauses and approaches Anwar.
You poor boy. What a terrible thing. Chi. My guards tell me it was because you wanted to come and see me. I think you people are mad sometimes. You raised me up to be this thing. I'm no different than any...
But you are!
Claps hands on mouth. Benazir looks at her for the first time.
And who might you be, young lady?
My name is Hila, Madam Prime Minister. That is my cousin. He was bringing me to see you. It is because of me we are here. I insisted Anwar bring me to Rawalpindi on his motorcycle.
I am not the Prime Minister, not yet at least. But where did you travel from?
Swat Valley, ma'am.
Oh, such a beautiful area. My father called it the Garden of Pakistan. We used to go there when we were children, trying to scramble up the mountainsides. I remember the flowers in the summer. So many flowers. Those purple ones. I forget their name now.
Agree, ma'am. We have hundreds and hundreds of them growing over the street from our house, down to the river. I love them too, ma'am. I pick them sometimes on my way to school.
School? How old are you both?
I'm 15, and Anwar, he was born just after Bakar Eid, the year before me. So maybe 17?
Allah. You're only children, and you have come all this way from Swat to see me. Do your parents know where you and your cousin are?
Ma'am, sorry. No, my Ammi, she is no longer with us. She died some years ago. My father.
I'm so sorry, child. Hila, you say? I'm honored.
No, it is I who is honored, ma'am.
Hila, I think I remember this. It means something in Pashto. Hope.
Yes, ma'am. My name, Hila, is the Pashto for hope.
Approaches the window and looks out.
The hope of the people.
She turns to Hila, who is staring at her feet, and lifts her head gently by the chin.
So tell me, what was the hope that brought you here?
Ma'am, I'm embarrassed. I just wanted to see you, even if it was from the back of the crowds that follow you. I am just a young girl, and you are so smart and powerful and...
Now, my dear Hila. I've had many opportunities in life, but I am just an ordinary woman raised in extraordinary circumstances. Not of my own making. Yet I think you are no ordinary young woman yourself. To make such an arduous and dangerous journey, you and your cousin?
She moves to the bed and stares at the boy in his injury.
Anwar is his name?
Anwar, yes. He's my father's brother's son. My father does not know. He would not approve. Cha-Cha, even less so, I think.
So no one but Anwar knows you are here.
Yes, ma'am. Well, no, that's not true. My sister, Laila, she knows, or likely knows. She knows I so much wanted to come, and that I told Anwar he would take me here. You would like her. She works at the Women's Health Center.
Protective, is she?
Yes, sometimes too much.
Imitates Layla and starts moving away from the window.
Laila is always saying, Hila, why are you so reckless? Hila, stop being foolish. You're only courting trouble.
And her name, your sister's name, is Laila.
Yes, it means beloved.
What beautiful names your parents chose for you.
Benazir, it has a special meaning too. She who is without parallel.
My father gave me that name. He said from the moment I was born, he knew I was like no other. Fathers can be like that. Perhaps a bit too, what's the right word, too overflowing of praise for their daughters.
All the girls in my village admire you. We want to be like you. We hope and pray you will win, that you will be prime minister again.
All the girls. Really?
Well, most.
Anwar starts to stir restlessly on the bed.
And Laila, my sister, we both do, very much. And you will be our prime minister again. I am convinced of it. We will pray for it to be.
Inshallah. But Hila, I am unique only as a woman. Our culture is still learning to appreciate women for all they can do. My father, now he was the unique one. He believed in me, in all of us, my brothers and sister.
I love my father. He is also special. He does a lot of work in the community, and he is very respected. He raised me and my sister almost single-handed. I have learned to care for others because of him.
Looks at Anwar, who is starting to wake up very slowly, as if coming off some heavy anesthetic.
I hope my actions won't bring any shame for him.
He definitely sounds special. Wait, though. Your father, he must know of this. We must tell him that you and your cousin have been in an accident. His family, too.
Picks up a phone on the table next to Anwar, but the cable is broken and frayed.
Wait, I will have my security bring you a phone.
Who would we call?
Why, your father. Wait, where is the nearest phone in your village?
I guess there's one in the women's center and also the post office. Oh, and the policeman has a new mobile. Oh, Cha-Cha-Ji too. Wait, Anwar must have his number. But he is the last person I'd want to call.
Why? I'm guessing he is a bit strict.
All the men are where we are from.
Okay, maybe we should just focus on getting you both back to your village. Oh my goodness, you are brave, aren't you? I hope my children grow up to be only half as courageous as you are.
You're embarrassing me again, ma'am. I feel my spirit has got us both into a lot of trouble.
Goes to hold Anwar's hand, turns to Benazir.
I so want to be a doctor or nurse, but my people prefer we should leave school and do more traditional things.
Tell me, Hila, why did you risk such danger to see me? How are things in SWAT, the clinics and schools we developed? Have they helped you?
Things are not good, ma'am. Many of the schools have closed. 2 schools were bombed last year. I fear that extreme views are taking hold, even in my own family. People are frightened for themselves and their loved ones. Some have moved away. The center in Swat Valley for women, I think it is the only of its kind in the whole province. My sister, Laila, works there and loves it. But we are scared someone will close it down, or the money will dry up because of some corrupt official, or worse. Anything good feels under threat. They are just stupid men, that is all. Stupid, angry men. If they could only be made to see.
They are angry, yes, but not stupid. My mother taught me, never underestimate the people. They are not as sheepish as you would want to believe, and never, ever underestimate their intelligence. They are frustrated because they are poor, and they see their loved ones impoverished and dying. When your life is living from one mouthful to the next, you try to name your misfortune. You are seeking a reason for why your life is the way it is. In those circumstances, it is easier to agree with the Molanos and the Molavis because it fits within your existing view. And it is easier to blame progress than change your own ways.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be so ignorant. You know so much more than me.
No, Hila. That's not what I was...
Anwar finally awakes and sees Hila first, then looks across, sees Benazir, and suddenly and comically panics and tries to sit up straight. He feels his leg and yells a short scream, all the while looking at Benazir. Hila tries to calm him down.
Anwar, it's okay. Look who came to see us.
Anwar smiles, tries to salute, in the process knocks over a vase with flowers. Benazir and Hila immediately start cleaning up.
What of the military and police? Do they not offer help?
Hila is picking up the flowers and vase and grabbing some paper towels to clean the spilled water.
Yes, some do. Many do. But it is very dangerous. Sometimes, when the military enters our villages, the extremists melt away into the mountains. As soon as the soldiers move on, the extremists come back. We know if we tell the authorities who those people are, our families will be harmed. It is especially hard for the police. They are part of us. Their families are especially at risk.
It took great courage to make this journey, especially with our laws as they are. So tell me, what can I do for you, for others like you?
Anwar immediately puts his hand up wanting to speak. He is routinely ignored.
May I first ask a question? But please, I mean no offense.
Of course.
Some say there is talk you are corrupt, that your interest is in growing rich, that you bring Western ideas and values to our country, and that it is against Islam.
Anwar tries to interject, but is cut off.
Oh, dear Hila, I welcome your questions. I know of these accusations. Yes, some have profited from our efforts to build a modern Pakistan. But that is not why we build. We do it for all the Hilas and Anthars out there.
Anwar reacts to his name being mispronounced.
Justice, democracy, the rule of law, these things are still being developed in our nation. And I am a product of a Western education. But like you, I am a Muslim. Nothing I wish to bring to our people is not already spoken of in the Quran and foreseen in our traditions.
Anwar, still being ignored, folds his hands and looks sullen.
But our traditions are what stifle us as women. My Baba and Chachaji want... Oh, ma'am, all I want is an education, a chance to learn. I wish to become a doctor or nurse one day. And to do all that without fear. Is that wrong?
No, it is not evil or wrong. It is all exactly as I would wish, exactly as I believe Allah would have it be.
Her cell phone rings. An aide is calling. Answers phone to aide.
Thank you. Please forgive me, but I must go now. But now, Hila, my dear, your desire to learn, to acquire the skills needed to help make for a safer and better life for the people of Swat, especially the women and children, all this is good in the eyes of Allah. Have courage and faith that Allah will bring all this and more to pass. Will you and your cousin be journeying back to Swat today?
As soon as we can. Yes, ma'am, but
Turning to look at Anwar, Anwar looks at her bewildered and somewhat angry.
I'm afraid.
Yes, I understand. It is difficult enough for a young woman to travel, even with a relative in the best of health. And I fear there is no way your cousin can escort you.
Anwar looks up with a "Hey, I'm here" expression.
I will ask some of our party workers to ensure you both a safe passage. I will ask the head of my security detail to make arrangements. He will help you.
Thank you, Madam Benazir.
Remember, in him, hope is never dead. In him, love is never lost.
At this, Benazir takes off her dupatta and gives it to Hila.
This is for you, my dear child. You are the hope of our nation.
Oh, please, no, this is too much. I can't possibly take this from you. Oh, Madam Benazir, I'm going to cry. Wait till Laila hears.
Hush, child. My father told me not to cry. You must do the same. Now you have to take my dupatta with which to dry your eyes.
Benazir and Hila exit. Anwar is alone. Lights dim, spot on him. He bangs his fist on the bed and then yelps in pain because of his leg. Anger rises in him. Finally, furious, he picks up the vase and throws it violently across the room. End of scene 7. Scene 8. Benazir's monologue. Lights up. Benazir prepares to travel by motorcade to deliver a speech. She is aware she may die at any moment, so takes this time to compose her thoughts. In so doing, she chooses to alter the speech she is about to give and talks over those changes on the phone with her aide. She sits at a small table, pen in hand, writing paper on a table. She writes a first short line and then the phone rings. Sound cue, ringing of a cell phone.
Hello. Yes, Mark. I understand, but there are always threats. We must proceed as planned. Well, how long will it take for the motorcade to arrive? I see. Before we go, I wish to rewrite some portions of my speech. Will there be time? No, it shouldn't take too long, but it's most important I do this. Yes, I'll hurry. And thank you.
Conversation ended. She picks up the speech and reads the lines aloud to herself.
My dearest, I came here today.
She hesitates, rises, paces, unsure. This sequence of rising, pacing, speaking, not writing, sitting, thinking, is repeated throughout the scene.
No. I met this young girl today. No, this young woman. I met this young woman today, wise beyond her years, and her cousin. They undertook a long and hazardous journey. But why? This is not the change I wish to bring to Pakistan. So much violence, so many dead, so many loved ones, lives, families destroyed, and she, Hila, so young yet so determined, they risked all this to see me, just to...
Crumples paper she was writing on and throws it.
No, it's too negative. We have a firm conviction. The real strength of a country lies in the empowerment, development, and well-being of its people. Of all its people. All our sons and daughters, like you, Hila, and your cousin, Anwar. All who love our country and its people. That is why I have come at this historic moment to ask you to fix your seal on the arrow, the symbol of this country, image of the pride and splendid future of the country. We will spread the light of education to every... We will give you a university so your children can get better and quality higher education and secure good jobs. Our hospitals need good machines, abundant medicines, and dedicated doctors to give the best possible treatment to the sick. This is the duty of a genuinely Islamic and democratic society. Hila, hope. You have given me hope.
Now she thinks, writes. Sound cue, ringing of a cell phone.
Thank you, Mark. I'm nearly finished. Oh, and Mark, please. My thoughts are such a jumble. Would you have time to read what I have written? Thank you, Mark. Will you be arriving soon? Good, I am ready. I think I am ready anyway.
She hangs up, sits again, speaks aloud.
Not just hope. Brave. Hila, you are so brave.
Writes and speaks these final few words.
Twice you elected me as the Prime Minister. It is no longer important if I become the Prime Minister for the third time. What is important is that I have risked my life while coming back. But I had to return because my country is in danger. I feel that the people feel concerned about the country's circumstances. That is why I have returned home. Oh, Papa. I know I promised. It is so hard.
She exits, lights dim to a faint wash. A long pause as a recording of Benazir's voice is heard speaking over the loud shouts of a huge crowd. Sound cue. Thunderous roars, chanting. Then assassination soundtrack is heard again. Shouting, shots, then a fade to silence. The lights slowly fade to black. End of scene 8. Scene 9. Free to choose a future. Lights up on where we left Hila and Laila exactly as they were at the end of scene 3.
Benazir is dead. What are we going to do, Hila? What is going to happen to us now? Last week, I didn't tell you, Hila. Last week, Shahida was going to the market and some Taliban stopped her. She was only wearing a shawl loosely over her head, no burqa, no hijab, just they beat her. They beat her like an animal. Some people stopped. They saw it, watched, but did nothing. Said nothing, not a word.
Fear, Laila. We live our lives scared.
Then will we become like them? All those people, silent?
We are like them already. But do not blame the villagers. What choice is there? The Taliban have guns and do what they please to anyone, always shouting, Allahu Akbar. Yes, Allah is great. But they beat Shahida. Allah does not command that.
What are we going to do? The army, police, they have guns, helicopters, tanks, and do nothing. We have nothing, no way to defend ourselves.
But that's not true. Benazir never took power with a weapon. She used words. Words are far more powerful. We have words and pens with which to write, voices with which to speak.
And what did they do today? Because Benazir dared to risk her life and speak. She was famous, powerful, beautiful, smart, and they...
Yes, she was all that and brave. Their power is fear. Our fear. As long as we cower before their threats, they win.
But they aren't just threats, Hila. What they did in those other villages, we're just village girls. We're nothing, nobody to them. We're only good to do their washing, haul water, clean, cook, carry their babies, and keep our mouths shut.
Hila starts packing.
What are you doing? What is that bag for?
I'm going away. I am leaving home, leaving the village. It dawned on me as the bus rolled into the village. It didn't feel like I was coming home. It didn't feel like home. It felt like a prison. These mountains that surround us, the guns the men carry, like bars on a prison cell.
What do you mean leaving the village? Where are you going?
I'm going back with the bus to Rawalpindi. Then, who knows?
You can't go and leave me here. What will I do without you?
I have to go, Laila. There is something terribly wrong in a place where such evil can go unchecked. Benazir promised us a different life, a better life, and...
She was killed for it! Will you be the same? Some say even her own husband had a hand in the killing.
And some say the generals, the army killed her. Others say she was too westernized, or that she was Shia. I don't care about any of that.
She embraces Laila.
She intended to make life better for us. Health care, clean water, electricity, education, schools. These are all what I care about. These are things that matter.
A long pause as they hug. Then she gazes into Layla's eyes.
Come with me, Laila.
I can't. I am here. My life is here. And as much as you despise him, someone must take care of Baba. I want to make my home a better place. Is that even possible?
That is in Allah's hands. But I must do what my heart tells me is right. I pray every day for us to have a better life. But prayer is not enough. I must speak the truth. Tell the world what is happening to us.
And the world knows, Hila. We hear it on the radio. The world doesn't care. More bombs and killing for what? To what end?
Laila begins to cry again. In a moment, she can speak again.
I want to curl up in a ball and make it all go away. But it doesn't go away. It only gets worse.
Pray, Laila.
You know I don't pray, not like you. I don't believe as you do. My faith is not as strong. Are my eyes pretty like yours?
Even more.
And my hair? Is it beautiful, long and dark like yours?
Oh yes, you know it is. You could be a film star. You're that beautiful. That's why Mother and Father named you Laila.
And you hope. Hila, the one full of hope. Do you think they knew? They must have known or sensed.
She goes to the Quran on the shelf.
The first word of the holy book is read. I will read. And inshallah, I will read everything. Science, literature, history, economics, medicine, especially medicine. I will study, learn how to make clean water, how to take care for the sick, how to make childbirth safe and more comfortable.
You make it sound so easy, also possible. Aren't you afraid?
Hila packs more rapidly.
I will have this of yours to remember you by. I love you, dear Laila. Trust in Allah. Speak to Allah. He will not leave your prayers unanswered. And remember, always speak the truth.
Hila picks up her bag and half turns to leave. Laila, seeing her about to depart, rushes towards her, arms wide, intending to hug and kiss her, perhaps for the last time. Hila stops, almost looks back, pretends not to notice, and exits upstage right. Laila, back to audience, is frozen in place. She partly turns, sees Hila's dupatta crumpled in a heap on the floor, picks it up, sees the box with money and picks that up too, turns to call Hila to give it to her, but she's gone.
Anwar! Anwar, come quick! Oh, your leg. Wait, I will come down.
Runs and exits upstage right. Anwar exits upstage left as Laila enters downstage right.
Anwar, she's gone. Hila's run away. I wanted her to have the money. And her dupatta. She's gone back to the PPP bus. She intends to go to Rawalpindi with them. Come with me.
There's a look of panic on his face, and he starts shaking his head as if in denial.
What is it, Anwar? You look terrified.
Anwar races for the door as fast as his crutches will carry him.
Anwar, wait!
Anwar exits downstage left. Lights cut to black. Laila exits. Sound cue. Sound of a loud bomb blast. Long pause. Lights up slowly. Stage is empty. Anwar slowly limps back in from downstage left, holding Layla's abaya, which Hila took. It is torn, burnt, and bloody. He stops downstage center. Baba then enters from downstage left.
Anwar, where have you been?
Notices the abaya.
Ye kiya hai? What are you doing with Layla's burqa? She was in her room.
Starts to panic, runs up to Anwar and grabs him. One of Anwar's crutches drops.
Tell me, what are you doing with Layla's burqa?
Laila enters upstage right, sees Anwar and Baba, and hurries up to them.
Baba, what's wrong?
Oh, thank Allah. Praise Allah. You're safe. You are safe.
Why would you think otherwise?
Sees burqa in Anwar's hand, recoils in fear and anguish, screams.
What? How? It can't be! No!
Baba holds her close again as she sobs.
Layla, what's going on? Why does Anwar have your burqa? Why is it torn? Whose blood is this? What's going on? Tell me.
Anwar's only line in the play, full of the love he had for Hila and the grief he now feels.
Hila. This can't be. She was wearing your burqa. Where is she? Anwar? No! She went to the PPP bus! Tell me it's not true. It can't be.
Facing away from Baba.
How did you know? How did you know?
Anwar sinks to the floor, his head in the abaya. He is sobbing.
I had nothing to do with this. You have to understand these lunatics. They are everywhere. Your Chacha wanted to make sure that neither of you went near the bus or that center.
I don't care what you say. You're as bad as all the others, whether you had a hand in this or not. You killed your own daughter.
Exits downstage left. End of scene 9. Scene 10, finale. Potatoire. Benazir and Hila are dead. The health center is destroyed. Laila is alone, beside herself with grief and fear. Lights up on Hila, spotlight on the burqa. Not knowing to whom to turn to or what to do, she looks around the room and sees the burqa. Laila picks it up, hugs it as though it were Hila herself, slowly moves downstage center and kneels. Sound cue, instrumental music heard in background throughout scene. Lights dim to a faint soft spot on Laila, holding the dupatta. Hila and Benazir then enter slowly, first Hila upstage right, then when in place, Benazir upstage left. They enter facing each other, dim soft spots fade up on each. Laila is unaware of them throughout the scene. She only senses the things that they say, feels the words but doesn't hear them. Laila, the point, far in downstage center in a dim spot, facing audience, with Hila and Benazir at the base, far upstage right and center, in dim spots of equal intensity, facing each other. Hila turns to face Laila.
My dearest Laila, I feel your torment. I hear your soul cry out in anger and fear. I share your tears. They dampen my cheeks, as though they were your own.
She reaches out to Laila as she speaks, then lowers her arms when she finishes, but continues looking in Layla's direction.
Feel my touch. Feel my embrace. My beloved sister,
Laila senses something. It is seen in her shoulders, a subtle change in posture, almost as if listening, not knowing if it is real, something to be comforted by or fearful of. She looks at the dupatta, seems to find some solace in it. Benazir turns to face Laila and Hila, looking to one, then the other as she speaks.
Oh, my daughters of Pakistan, I have bled for you. Hila, for you who paid with your life. Laila, for you who now feels you stand alone. For all who suffer without health care, without education. Take heart. The fight for the truth is important. There will come a day when you will see the result of your struggles.
I know the torments you suffer, but believe I will always be at your side. In your moments of doubt, call out my name. In your moments of fear, call out my name. In those moments when you feel most alone, call out my name.
Laila slowly rises to standing. There seems to be some doubt in her posture, but a noticeable change in her breathing, a sense of calming. She looks at the dupatta, held now in her hands in front of her.
Hila? Hila?
We turn to you now. You will not stand alone. The fight for women's rights is not a battle against men. It is a fight for the equality of all.
Laila's spine stiffens with confidence, looking side to side, taking in surroundings, steps down stage center.
Laila, my dearest Laila, always speak the truth.
As she finishes her line, her light fades out and she exits upstage right as her light fades. Laila, with confidence, puts on dupatta, looks at audience, taking them in. Music fades out. Sound cue. Noise in the background as if Benazir is making a speech to a large crowd.
I feel that the people feel concerned about the country's circumstances. That is why I have returned home. I have come to you to say that your sister needs those who are brave, who are courageous, and who are faithful to the flag of our motherland.
End of play.
We don't have either playwrights here this evening because they're not in town, but I told one of the playwrights, Dennis, that I would call him in on FaceTime if anybody had any questions about the script or wanted to talk to him. So I'm going to grab my phone. But if you have any questions for us, okay, I can't see. Sorry. Oops. No, he must not have a phone. A FaceTime. Well, I'm just going to call him and put him on speaker. This is a work in progress. Dennis started writing it himself. He's a... Oh, hello, Dennis. You're on speakerphone.
Yes, I am.
Oh. So there's computer down. Yeah, turn your computer down. There's a delay.
1 second. Okay, the computer's down and off.
Yeah, so we have a small audience here in the theater tonight, a few people, but I wanted them to have the chance to answer any questions that you might have, they might have for you, or if you wanted to say anything about the piece. It would be helpful maybe to give a little background, because I know you started it and then Naveed came in and joined you in this project.
Right, you did. Let me start off by saying thank you so much to those of you who read parts. It was just wonderful. It did. I can't even tell you. I'm just kind of a babbling fool, and you caused me to sob and laugh, things like that. So thank you so much. Yes, I started this actually some time ago at the request of a couple of people in New York City, one of whom was a money man and one was a professional dancer. And they involved a Russian composer, and they were going to turn it into a musical, and the Russian composer was really into hard rock. Yeah, it really, and it just didn't work. So I went on and finished the play. I thought it was terrible. So I threw it away and I started over again and over again, and finally got to a point where I thought, this is not so bad. And we workshopped a couple of scenes, and I'd asked Naveed if he would play Zulfikar in one of those scenes, and he agreed. And a day or two afterwards, he called me on the phone, and this is not his exact words, but he basically said, what is an Irish guy doing writing a play about my country? And I said, that's a very good question. Maybe I shouldn't. And he said, well, I would like to collaborate with you if that's okay. And so that started, a while back, as you said, maybe 2 years ago. And his contribution to the play has been, it's hard to describe. I mean, obviously, words and sections of the play, but Naveed is a Muslim from Pakistan. He may actually have been born and raised in England, but so far the Pakistani diaspora, if you will. He also is a Quaker. I lived in Saudi Arabia and I studied Islam, and when I found out he was a Muslim Quaker, I was like, really? What is that? And he's a fabulous fellow.
He's a great actor, too.
He is, and he's been a reviewer in the Triangle area. The bottom line is that the play was written by an Irish guy. I am a dual national, so I really am an Irish guy. And it culturally, it made no sense, sections of it. Not that it wouldn't necessarily not make sense to people who didn't understand Pakistan and the culture and what that meant. But for someone who did, who had an inkling of it, and even a person, a Muslim, because I said some things, I have great respect for Muslim and Islam, and he said to me one day, he said, I don't like the way you're dissing the Quran. And I was shocked. I thought, I didn't think I was doing that. So much of this play, the nuances change. Why would Cha-Cha-Ji be important? He added Cha-Cha-Ji. So much of what makes the play more authentic is Naveed. So I can't even begin to tell you how much Naveed contributed to and the value he has lent to this piece. It's huge. So there.
Wonderful. So does anybody have any questions? Yes, Marilyn and Selmy. I think you've met her before, another playwright.
Yes, I have. And a fabulous furniture maker.
Yes.
Yeah. It seems to me that what we don't see is as important as what we did see. So it's hard for me sitting here to probably have the reaction that you wanted your audience to have because of everything that the stage reader read. Would you say that's a fair response?
If I understand what you're saying, then if I understand it correctly what you're saying, then I would say yes. my way of approaching a play and writing is very much about atmosphere and emotion. And
Almost like you're into Beckett. Sorry.
And lights, like all that doodah about the lights and the fading and where they are on the stage and having very few set pieces, none if at all possible, all that blah, 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 that's me. That's just strictly me. Naveed was fine with it. He was way okay with it, but that is me. And so,
Yeah, but I think truly, like, if I can add on to that, as a actor and as a director, when reading this, what excites me is that there is all of that atmosphere added in. Yes, in a staged reading, it's hard to have it come across because it's a lot of words, and when this actually gets staged, it'll just be beautiful, gorgeous transitions of light and music and gobos of, bars coming in and out. So it is I don't like the word difficult, but it's not as fulfilling as a staged reading due to the fact, I think what will make this play be so beautiful and make it work so well is that atmosphere, that the lighting, the dancer behind, the inner being behind Hila, and the music and all the sound cues.
I think the mystery.
Yes, and the mystery.
yeah.
I think that at times,
The notion of the inner being that's a Dennisism, that's true. And then I've created dances before, which sounds ludicrous. If you ever saw me, you realize 250 pounds of meat doesn't dance, but I have choreographed dances. I love story that we all have stories, I believe. This is just my belief, that we don't or can't.
Around that an audience member should have to get the most out of the play. I feel like I know a patchwork amount about the religion and how it is different in different countries. But I felt like I heard terms like burqa and shador and
Abaya.
yeah, all these terminology for what I always assumed was the same thing. Is that cultural ignorance?
No, it's just,
Or-
I'll answer that really quickly, just because I've done a lot of plays that have happened in different Muslim countries, and so there is, obviously, it's, with any religion, there's extremes and there's, other ones, and so as far as in Muslim, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Dennis, there's the dupatta, which is basically just kind of like the loose scarf where you kind of see the hair, but it's modesty, and then you have the hijab, which covers the hair but leaves the face, and then you have the burqa, which is the, full on, you've got like a little windscreen here to look
And
through
the
your eye.
shador, which
Yes,
is-
right.
yeah.
And now the term that I am totally not familiar with is the abaya, but that was in the description, not anything they said. Now, is that just kind of a general term for all of the head coverings, Dennis, or?
No, it's not. In fact, as I mentioned earlier, I think we, my family, and I had lived and worked in Saudi Arabia for 3 years. And there, the covering that women were required to wear was called an abaya. It was a head-to-toe covering that did not necessarily include a face mask.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it was a head to toe. It had to be black. It could be no other color. And it was, for many women, I got to know some women behind closed doors, and they're extremely hot. They're loathsome. They're like an imposition in many cases, but not at all. Not at all. So there are different terms and different styles. There's 3 or 4 others. What you brought up is the question that you brought up about background knowledge it's a two-edged sword. On one hand, and I still worry about that what if an audience member doesn't know anything about the Bhutto family? There's an awful lot of factual information in this play, but if you didn't know who they were, it's like, how do you even know if it's factual? The quotes of Benazir Bhutto, they are direct quotes. They were speeches she gave. The reference to Elon University, she was there and gave a speech. And so on and on and on. But at the same time, I had written a play years ago about the Armagh women's prison in the north of Ireland. And someone asked me about why were they talking about the Spanish so much? Well, it's they were referring to Grania Nawali, the pirate queen, and how much the Spaniards were trying to help the Irish rise up and divert the English. And it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know how much you need to know. I would ideally say you don't need to know diddly squat. You just come in, and if it moves you, then hallelujah. That's what I hope would happen. And even if you knew everything and it didn't move you, or if you knew nothing and it didn't move you, then it was a failure.
It moved me.
No, I think it's.
I just wasn't sure if I was supposed to know all the details, because there's a lot of details
Right.
I didn't understand. But the heart of the people and the words that they chose and used to communicate with were incredibly powerful, and so I was wondering if I was missing something by not knowing all the cultural. Thank you.
I think like with any play, it's subtleties, especially if it's based on like a different culture or a different time period or, just a different area. There's going to be things, but, I always say there's the plot and then there's what the play is about. So personally, for me, I feel like this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe this is what you're supposed to take from it what you can, but yes, it's a play. The plot is about these two sisters and their relationship with Benazir Bhutto and the Bhutto family. But the theme, what it is about, is, if I had to use one word, it's equality. It's about equality for all peoples, everywhere, all over the world. There's a line in there about what is our nation if the people aren't taken care of. And I think that can be used in every country, especially this one. Who are we if we're not taking care of our, and I don't want to get political or anything because, we're just having a nice evening reading a play. But I think any good play, you can take something, whether you get all the references or not, we're still doing Shakespeare. Like literally, and I read your thing today about how you don't like Shakespeare, and I was like, well, you don't have to come see my Midsummer Night's Dream. But even that, we still do, Death of a Salesman. We still do these plays because they have these universal messages about what it is to be human and what we deserve as human beings. We deserve food and water and shelter and love and education and clothing and all of that.
Well, I participate weekly in conversation groups via Zoom. And by conversation, I mean Irish conversation, Gaelic, if you will. And somebody asked me, this is all the conversations in Irish, what is this play about? And that was to answer that, I couldn't get my brain around it, so I just blurted out what I could in Irish. But I blurted that out to Naveed afterwards, and he said, exactly. And what I said was Cart Namra, which means women's rights. And he's in England right now. His father sadly died about 2 months ago, and he's with his mom and his sisters and other relatives. And he has spoken to them a lot about the play. They have had a chance to read it. And he's gathered up a lot of input and information from Pakistani women. And in fact, he's talked to some people about perhaps having a staged reading done in Pakistan.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, holy smokes. So, yeah, to me, the play, yes, it's very based on the historical events of a family, of a nation, but it's universal in terms of, I'll give you an example. There's a line in there that almost makes me choke. And I think I wrote it. It's about, I don't know if it's Laila or Hila is saying, Hila is saying things like, well, in America, they really respect women and all that. I said, you know, when I lived in Saudi Arabia, I kept thinking, you know, I had my counterpart was an imam of a mosque, and I asked him one day about the clothing and the covering for women and all that shit, and he talked about modesty, that's a part of the Quran. And I thought, yeah, what would you then call the cowboys, y'all as cowboy cheerleaders? You know, it's kind of like, we're not very modest in this country. I mean, the average person on the street, but America could not be held up as, I don't know what, you know?
I think modesty is when you get that, it's like, it's a relative term, right? What's modest to me is not modest to somebody, you know, it's like, that's why we have interpreters, right? You know, and it's like, you know, it's such a interesting term.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because what does that mean? Because there's a lot of Muslims, especially in Saudi Arabia, who have billions of dollars, and yeah, they're covered up all over, but they've got a $15 million ring on, and they're driving around in a $30 million car. Is that modest? Your body's covered, but is what your life modest? You know what I mean? So that's how I always find like words like that are so relative and depend on what your interpretation of it is.
Yeah, exactly, and that was the whole section of the play about interpretation.
Yes.
You know, and it's so very true. I studied to be a Catholic priest only for 2 years, you know, a short time. But I had a very religious background. And I came to think of things like Ramadan, the month of Ramadan. I call it Lent on steroids.
Yeah.
Yes. I really appreciated prayer call 5 times a day. So many of the other expatriates found it an imposition, but I thought, you know, the notion of stopping and thinking about God and praying or meditating or however you want to call it, all businesses closed, traffic slowed to a stop. In many cases, it just plain did stop. And it was like 5 times a day, a nation kind of paused and said, there's some bigger stuff going on.
Mm.
I don't know. As I said it early on, and I do have a very deep respect for Islam. And yes, I'm talking too much. I'm sorry. I'm an Irish guy, so give me a pint of Guinness and it's all over.
Yeah.
I'll start.
Well, does anybody have another question or comment? I would just like to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank our actors for giving them your time and your talents. It's amazing work, and I appreciate it so much. And thank you for sharing it and entrusting it with me. And I hope this is helpful to you and Naveed to have some, you know, to have heard it out loud to help work out kinks and things like that. The one thing I was discussing with Jim Lowdermilk, who played Father, and Zulfikar, that some of the flashbacking is a little confusing. And I think that if you wanted to look at something, just me as a director and as even just an observer, that it would be confusing for me. And so the order of the scenes, or I don't know if you want to put projections up or something like that, like 4 years earlier or 5 years later or whatever, just the order of that jumping around wasn't totally clear.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and I agree with it. And Naveed and I have both said we're far from being done with this, and so that's very true. That was why we wanted and appreciated the opportunity to be able to hear it read, so that we could kind of sit here, because when you live in the words yourself, it's kind of like you accept your own foibles and sillinesses and confusions, and or at least I have a tendency to do that. And so I made a number of notes during this reading, and yeah, I very much appreciate that, and I agree. And I want to just say again, the reading, those of you so much, are an Irish Scooter Billy Mike.
Thank you so much, and we will talk soon.
All right, thank
All
you.
right,
Bye-bye.
thanks, bye. All right. Thank you. So tomorrow night, we have 2 one-acts. High Cheekbones by Miss Marilyn Varner Anselmi, who's with us tonight. And then we have